AITA for considering divorce because my husband keeps pressuring me into a natural birth. I, 27F, and my husband, 34M, are at an impasse over an issue regarding childbirth. And honestly, I don't know if I'm overreacting or if my feelings are valid. Here's the full story. I'm pregnant with our first child, and from the moment I found out, I've been feeling overwhelmed and stressed out about the entire experience of giving birth. I've always been terrified of childbirth, particularly the idea of a natural birth. Stories from friends, family, and everything I've read only intensify that fear. The idea of labor, the pain, the pushing, it just freaks me out. I know it's a normal part of life for many women, but for me, it feels like a nightmare. To help cope with this fear, I had a long conversation with my doctor, and thankfully, she has been incredibly understanding. After discussing everything in depth, my doctor agreed to schedule a C-section for me, since I made it clear that this option would be the best for my mental and emotional well-being. I know a C-section isn't the preferred method for everyone, but for me, it provides a sense of safety and control over the situation, and that means a lot to me. The issue is with my husband. From the beginning, he has been adamant about wanting me to have a natural birth. Every time we talk about the baby and preparing for childbirth, he brings up the idea of a natural birth. He talks about it like it's the only real option, telling me things like women have been giving birth for thousands of years, and it's the natural way to do it. I've tried explaining to him that I'm scared that the very idea of natural birth makes me anxious, and that I feel much better about the idea of a C-section, but he just won't let it go. I've done everything I can to educate myself. I've taken childbirth class, I've read books, and I've talked to other women who have gone through both natural births and C-sections. But nothing is helping ease my fear. The more I talk about it, the more stressed I become. I just can't shake this feeling that a natural birth isn't something I can handle mentally or emotionally. Despite everything, my husband remains insistent. He keeps telling me that natural birth is better for the baby and that I should try to do it the normal way. It's like he's not hearing me at all. In fact, it feels like he's pressuring me, disregarding my feelings, and focusing only on what he wants, not what I need. I've tried to communicate that this decision affects me deeply, but he brushes it off like it's not that big of a deal. Yesterday, we had yet another discussion about it. I was at my wit's end, and after he kept pushing for the natural birth idea, I snapped. I told him, in no uncertain terms, to F***CK off. I was angry, frustrated, and just plain exhausted from being constantly pressured about something that should be my decision. It's my body, my birth, and my experience. Yet he refuses to respect my wishes. I don't know what else to do at this point. Now, I'm starting to wonder if this is something bigger than just a disagreement about childbirth. If he can't respect my decision when it comes to something as personal and significant as the way I bring our child into the world, what other areas of our marriage will he disregard my needs in? If I'm not being heard here, how can I trust that I will be respected in other important matters as well? I'm honestly considering whether this marriage is worth it. I know that might sound extreme, but I feel like my autonomy is being stripped away. I've been thinking about whether I'm being selfish or whether he's the one being unreasonable. I don't want to divorce him. The thought of my baby growing up without a father like I did terrifies me. I know the effects of growing up in a single-parent home. I would never want my child to go through that. But at the same time, I can't keep feeling this way. The stress, the anxiety, and the pressure I'm under are eating me up. I'm not asking him to do something major. Just respect the fact that I'm terrified and that I've made a choice for my peace of mind. If he can't give me that respect, how can we move forward in a healthy way? So here I am. I've been thinking about all of this and trying to weigh the pros and cons, but I'm stuck. I feel like I'm being torn between the life I thought we would have and the reality of what's happening. I can't keep fighting about this, and it's starting to feel like something that could potentially end our marriage. After I told him to F***CK off, I think he was a little taken aback. It's not like I've ever spoken to him like that before, and I could see in his eyes that he was genuinely hurt. But at the same time, I couldn't bring myself to apologize. I was too overwhelmed with everything, and I felt like, after months of him disregarding my feelings, I had every right to be upset. We've never had a serious argument like this before. We've always been a pretty good team, and this whole situation has shaken me. He went silent for a while. The next few hours were spent in a kind of awkward tension. He didn't say much after I lost my temper, and I didn't push him for a response. I knew he was angry, but I was equally angry, just in a different way. I wanted to scream, "Why can't you just understand that I'm terrified? Why can't you respect my choice for my own body?" But instead, I kept everything bottled up because I didn't want to escalate the situation further. Finally, After a few hours of cold silence, he came back to me and said he was sorry for pushing so hard. But even in his apology, I could tell he wasn't really hearing me. He still mentioned that he felt strongly about the natural birth, but he was trying to be more understanding. And then he added something that hit me like a punch in the gut. He said, "I just feel like I'm the one who has to deal with all your fear. I can't be excited about this pregnancy because I'm constantly worried that you're just thinking about what's best for you, without thinking about what's best for the baby." I froze. That was the moment I started questioning everything. He had just made it about himself again. I knew he didn't mean to, but it felt like he was blaming me for my fear and making me feel guilty for wanting to make a decision that would help me feel safe and in control. It was like he thought my choice for a C-section was selfish. I wanted to say, "Of course, I'm thinking about the baby. I'm making the decision I think is best for me and the baby," but I didn't. I just sat there, staring at him, unsure of how to respond. I know it wasn't malicious on his part. I think he truly believes that the natural birth is the best option for both me and the baby. But what cost? What about my mental health? What about the fact that I've been open and honest about my fear? Why is he going to make the call on what's best for me? This has all brought up so many unresolved issues between us that I never realized were there. It's like this pregnancy has become a magnifying glass, making everything more intense and difficult to ignore. I've always tried to keep the peace and keep things going smoothly between us. I'm a type of person who avoids confrontation, but it seems like I'm at the point where I can't keep ignoring things anymore. When I think back to my childhood, I can't help but feel like I'm heading down a path where my child could grow up in a broken home. I know divorce isn't something anyone enters lightly, and it's certainly not something I want for my child. But at the same time, if my husband can't respect something as fundamental as my choice about childbirth, what else will he disregard down the road? What if this is just the beginning of a pattern where I feel ignored, unheard, and unsupported? I can't stop thinking about my own experience growing up. I lost my father when I was young, and it left a lasting mark on me. I always swore I wouldn't put my child in the same situation. I want my child to grow up with both parents in a happy, stable environment. But right now, it feels like staying in this marriage might not give me that. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, trying to balance my own well-being with the idea of keeping the family together. There's also the guilt. Every time I think about the idea of divorce, I feel so guilty. I'm so scared of repeating the past and making my child grow up without a father. But at the same time, I feel like I'm losing myself in this marriage. I'm constantly compromising my needs to make him happy, and I can't keep doing that. This situation with the birth is just the tip of the iceberg, and if we don't work through it now, I worry about what will come up next. I know that I can't make decisions based solely on fear, but at the same time, I can't ignore my own feelings. I need to feel like I have control over my own body, and I need to feel like my emotional well-being is valued. I need my husband to support me, not pressure me into something I don't want to do. I've been toying with the idea of seeing a therapist individually and together to help us work through this. I've been feeling so isolated in all of this, and I'm worried that if we don't get help, we'll end up going in circles forever. But the thought of dragging him into therapy when he's so resistant to the idea of me choosing a C-section feels like a losing battle. I don't want to force him into therapy, but at the same time, I'm afraid that if we don't address these issues now, they will only get worse. I keep asking myself, am I being unreasonable for wanting a C-section? I don't want to make a decision that's only about me, but at the same time, I can't help but feel like I have to stand firm on this. This is my body, my birth, my experience. And it feels like if I don't take a stand now, I'll keep losing pieces of myself in this marriage. So I'm still stuck. I don't know if I'm being dramatic or if my feelings are valid. I've been thinking about what life would look like if we got divorced, but I just don't know if I can make that leap. AITA for wanting a C-section and considering divorce over my husband's pressure to have a natural birth?